You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya Whitner, and this is your NXT Audio Report, your 6-star NXT Audio Report for Wednesday, January 11th, 2017. Thank you all for listening. We start off NXT this week. It is the road to NXT TakeOver San Antonio in 17 days, the night before the Royal Rumble. And we got some matches made here tonight. We kicked the show off with footage from earlier today where Asuka was arriving at the building and Billie Kay and Peyton Royce attacked Asuka, slamming her into a nearby van and pouring water in her all over Asuka's face, causing her mascara to run. That led us to the other side of the opening intros as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce entered the arena and took on Maisie Evans and Sarah Bridges. The ladies, like I said, got done beating up Asuka and then entered the arena for their match. This was indeed a showcase for the heel duo. Evans got beat up all over the ring, but was able to make the tag to Bridges. Bridges looked good for about a minute, but got cut off and pinned after Royce hit the Bulldog onto Billie Kay's knee. After the match, Billie and Peyton again made a challenge to Asuka, saying that her title belonged to them and that they are the most dominant force in the division. Suddenly, both ladies got wide-eyed as Asuka dragged herself to the ring. Kay and Royce put the boots to Asuka until Nikki Cross, of all people, ran in for the save. Cross ran off Billie Kay and Peyton Royce before dropping Asuka with a middle rope dropkick of her own. Asuka, ladies and gentlemen, may have some competition. Backstage, Nikki Cross declared that she will take the NXT Women's Championship, while Damo was seen watching Sanity from afar. The Drifter was back, drifting into our television sets across the world, going one-on-one with Apollo Crews' illegitimate brother, Jonathan Crews. Crews got a couple of roll-ups for a near fall, but other than that, he spent this match getting his butt kicked. Elias tried to pull Crews at one point through the ring post. However, when that didn't work, he decided to just give Jonathan a running knee to the head. Samson then picked up the win with the roll of the dice. And a rematch from a forgettable match in Osaka, which was a rematch from their dark match in Dallas. Andrade Cien Almas took on Oni Lorcan next. Almas did not take this match seriously despite being upset a few weeks ago until Lorcan hit him with a drop kick while Almas was relaxing on the ropes. Lorcan actually hit a buff blockbuster outside the ring before Almas took over inside of it. Almas won with a drop kick to the face, and when Lorcan kicked out, he turned the kick out into an armbar. Lorcan made his comeback, but he missed the running buff blockbuster in the ring, but did hit a running Alabama slam into the turnbuckles. However, Almas recovered, picked up the win with a low drop kick, and then the hammerlock DDT. Almas then cut a promo in Spanish, which he translated to English, saying that 2017 will be his year, screaming at the crowd to shut up, as he appeared to imply that Roderick Strong was next on his list. Earlier today, Tom Phillips sat down with the NXT champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura said that his matches with Samoa Joe were tough, but he's proud to still be the champion. He said that he liked Bobby Roode. Roode is good looking. Roode is a good wrestler, but Roode is not strong. He's not the king, and he's not going to be the NXT champion after San Antonio. The interview ended with Tom Phillips giving Nakamura a gift from Roode. It was Roode's ticket stub from NXT TakeOver Dallas when Rude debuted by sitting in the crowd. Next week, it was announced that Nakamura and Rude will have their contract signing for Dallas. The first contract signing of the year. We should keep a running count to see how many of these we have, because we usually have at least about a dozen. Main event time. DIY, the reigning, defending, undisputed NXT Tag Team Champions, defending against the only two-time champs in NXT history, The Revival. The two teams did face off both at TakeOver Brooklyn, which Revival won, and then in Toronto, which DIY won in the 2 out of 3 falls match. If you recall, if you include TV matches, DIY is actually up 3-1, having won a match back in May before Revival were champions, and then winning a match in the Dusty Rhodes Classic via forfeiture. Revival got the heat on Gargano here, working over his knee in the same way they have in the prior 2 matches. Gargano fought and crawled and scratched and got ever so close to making that tag. Gargano finally seemed to have his moment, but when he dove for the tag, Dawson dove in from out of nowhere with the pound saw. Yes, I had to do a Monty Brown reference there. Gargano was able to get to the ropes to break up a half crab. Wilder mocked Gargano, so Johnny Wrestling hit an enziguri and made the hot tag. Ciampa ran wild on both men, with the fans chanting "Psycho Killer" at him. Revival did make a brief comeback when Dawson hit a clothesline on Ciampa so hard that Ciampa's kids are probably feeling it right now. Ciampa got on the arm breaker, but Dawson threw Gargano into the pile. Revival went for a shatter machine, but Ciampa speared Dash, and Dawson then got a near fall with a roll-up. Gargano hit a suicide dive to Dawson, while Ciampa hit the running knee off the apron to Dash. We got a series of reversals before Dawson got the nearest of near falls with an Arn Anderson-like DDT on Ciampa. Finally, DIY picked up the win, ended this rivalry by pinning both men after the running knees to them both. So yes, folks, DIY has retained their championship, and like how it was announced several weeks ago, they will now face the Authors of Pain at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. Speaking of the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Classic, Paul Ellering came out to distract the champs as the ALP ran through the crowd and attacked the champions. The Authors of Pain hit the Super Collider and laid out Gargano and Ciampa with multiple power bombs. However, the show was not over just yet. Instead, Mr. Eagle was in his office and made announcements that we've already known. He announced that DIY and Authors of Pain would wrestle in San Antonio, which again was announced a month ago. And then he announced the contract signing for Rude versus Nakamura would be next week, which again we found out about 20 minutes earlier. The only new information we got out of this was Asuka storming into the office, demanding a title match at TakeOver against all of them, implying that it'll be a fatal 4-way against Billie Kay, Peyton, Royce, and Nikki Cross. So that does it for this week. I want to thank everyone for listening again, and I will talk to you again in 7 days.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.